O.J. Simpson doesn't need much of an introduction. O.J. probably is one of the best football players that ever played this game, and last week he announced his retirement. But he's been doing a lot of acting, so I'm sure that he's going to continue to be in the public eye. And as a matter of fact, on December the 30th, at 8 o'clock here on NBC, he's going to star in a television movie called Goldie and the Boxer. Would you welcome O.J. Simpson? Hey, feeling, Juice? Well, how does it feel to be a retiree?
Well, I really don't know yet.
Do you have mixed emotions? You know, I know so many of the guys who play the game, and I asked Joe Namath once when he stepped down after his career. And I said, you miss it? And he said, no. And then there was a hesitation, and he said, yeah. But there does come a moment, I suppose, where any professional athlete has to say, well, do I go another year? Do I step down now? For various reasons, right?
Yeah, and I think every athlete thinks he can play longer.
Right.
But I don't think emotionally I've realized yet that I'm retired and I'm not going to play again. I think every athlete, even the guys who play in the Super Bowl, you're glad the season is over. And I've had a couple of tough weeks. You know, I've had writers around me and a couple of people doing films around me. And, they said, we want to see what it's like, your last week in the league. And I said, well, it would be a little different if you weren't here, you know?
Yeah, like this is hardly a typical week when the press is following you into the dressing room, right?
Yeah.
What do you think you might miss the most? The actual the camaraderie that exists between professional athletes, the friendships that you do make over the years, or the actual thrill of being out in front of that many people and being able to doing something superbly?
Yeah, well, that spontaneous reaction from a crowd,
right.
I know I'm going to miss that. I think the thing I miss the most is, as players, you can get in the locker room, you get to know each other so well that you can really act silly, Yeah. You can go in every day and act silly and have a good time and just let let everything sort of hang out. And I'm going to miss that, It's part of the camaraderie and, the feeling in the locker room, the joking around, and I'm going to miss that quite a bit. But in this business, I find that if you're on location, you can get, that sort of feeling with the people you're working with. It's sort of a team feeling after a couple of weeks, in Albuquerque on the desert, all the makeup is gone, and the people you're working with,
You probably have records, you and Jim Brown now together, because I think Jim and you are the 1 and 2 in all-time yardage. Records that'll probably really may never be broken, because there are an incredible number of yards, you said.
Well, they're all going to be broken.
You think so? You think athletes get better every year? A lot of the guys who played 20 years ago seem to think that the guys nowadays are stronger, faster, or for whatever the reasons. Either they're growing up differently or different nutrition or something, but are better athletes generally, the ones from 5, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone, during the war, the average height of men was your height, and now guys are...
I wasn't with the Japanese, O.J. I was on our side, You have a misconception. Now, how tall do you think I am?
No, I thought you surprised me. I played tennis with you a couple of years ago, and I was surprised you're
just about 6 feet. Just about 6 feet. Never quite made it. I always have to put down 5'11" and a half, which always bugged me. But you think, they're all getting bigger.
Yeah, I think everybody, athletes, they eat better, they train better, and, you look at a guy like Earl Campbell. When I saw him, I was, amazed that a guy his size can run the way he run the ball.
I saw a high school game the other night. They were televising some local. Now, the guys in high school, 16, 17 years old, and they'd say, well, here's Rick so-and-so from El Segundo. Rick weighs 270 pounds. And the kid is 16 years old in high school. 260 pounds now. That's crazy.
Yeah, and they're better. This is the day of the specialists. When I first started playing football, you played both ways. And the guys who weren't real good played defense. And the better guys play offense, but you have to play both ways. Now you got guys they come into pro ball, and all their lives they've been a guard. All their life they've been a defensive back. So they're better prepared by the time they get to pro ball, and we're playing more games. And I was surprised. My record, 2,003 yards in the season, I was surprised this year wasn't broken, because I thought halfway during the season that Walter Payton would break it. But they had a couple of tough games in there. But I would be surprised if it's not broken in the next 2 or 3 years.
But that's a sensational record. Do you still keep active? I know you play tennis. Anything else that you do?
Well, I play a lot of racquetball, but, I just retired,
Yeah.
I have to tell people I'm not dead. I just retired from football. So,
Let me take a break. We got a little piece of film from, I think, your upcoming movie, but we'll do this first. We'll be right back. He is not fed, folks. We're back. We're talking with O.J. Do you like the acting end of it? When's the first thing you did? I know you're still playing football, of course.
Yeah, the first thing I ever did, I was holding out for Buffalo, trying to get more money, and
right.
I was right out of USC, and I had a couple of producers come to me and asked me if I can act. And I said, sure, I can try to act. And they gave me a little part in the show. And it was a medical center show, and it became their premiere show, the first one ever shown.
Right.
And since that time, people have been offering me roles, and I've been doing it. And I didn't take it serious until I was in Orville, California, once doing a film called The Klansman with Richard Burton and Lee Marvin, and they were really kind of going at it. And Liz Taylor was there, and we were sitting around one night, and they were talking about food, and the conversation got on chili. And Liz was saying the best chili in the world was at Chasen's.
That's right, true.
So everyone started saying, oh, it was great chili. So somebody made a call. In an hour and a half, they had a private jet bring a pot of chili from Chasen's to Orville, California, and 2 hours later, we're eating chili, and I'm saying, I like this life.
I like this. I like this kind of work. How many guys sit around in the locker room and say, let's send out for chili and have it flown in by a jet? The movie is called Goldie and the Boxer, on NBC, coming up. I forgot another date. Coming up December 30th.
Yes.
Right? Did you like how it turned out?
Oh, yes, I'm a little proud of it because I had the script for 5 years, and it's the first thing that my company, my production company, has done, other than a TV special, and we think it came out real well.
Okay, now we got about a minute clip here. Does this need any setting up at all? I don't know what...
Well, this is, I think the scene here is with me and the little girl, and I just got out of the Army, you know, when all the guys were your height, and 1946. And I just finished sparring with her father. She just found me unconscious by the railroad tracks, and he's just given me a job as his sparring partner. And she asked to be my manager, and I tell her it's okay, and we're just now walking to go have a bite to eat.
Okay, here's a little clip from Goldie and the Boxer.
I've seen a lot of fighters in my time, and I can tell you're really good.
You haven't seen nothing yet. Can you keep a secret?
I'm your manager, right? Of course I can keep a secret.
Well, I got this secret punch. It comes like a bolt of lightning out of nowhere. But when it comes, watch out.
What kind of punch?
Right uppercut. I call it my Mary Lou.
Wow. Why Mary Lou?
Oh, because she was something else. Whee! She stood about 5'4", but boy, did she pack a punch.
What kind of punch?
Well, she had this... A fruit punch. You know, like lemonade? She used to make my lunch, and she used to put this special punch in it.
Who packed your lunch?
Mary Lou, she was my granny.
Oh.
That's a nice little scene there. Many actors, you know, are not particularly thrilled about working with young children because they say don't work with children, what, animals, because you get upstaged every time?
Well, I tell you, I worked a scene once with Paul Newman, and he told me that as long as you play your character, you'll be all right in this business, no matter who you're working with. So, yeah, if you play your character.
What's next for you?
Well, right now we may be doing a feature film through the company. We did another film called Detour that'll be shown in February, also on NBC. So we're staying busy. Yeah.
Hey, that's great. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're back. We just have a minute or so before we have to say goodnight. You've been probably are tired of telling the story about how you got the name O.J., but it wasn't something you had as a kid. Most people think you were called O.J. as a kid, but not true, right?
Wrong.
Yeah.
I was called O.J. Ever since I can recall. I didn't know my name was Arenthal until I was in the 3rd grade, and the teacher, I just went to a new school, and the teacher had called everyone's name, and they had sat down, and she said, who are you? And I said, I'm O.J. Simpson. She said, Arenthal. So I didn't make a big deal of it because my classmates was there, and I sat down, and I went home and asked my mother, what is my name? And she told me it was Arenthal.
Arenthal.
You know? But it was O.J., and, you know, they made it orange juice once I got to the pro ball.
But that had nothing to do with orange juice, right? That had something to do with energy or something like that.
Yeah, I was always kidding around and, you know, hyping things up and sort of juiced up, so to speak, sort of like
well, yes.
our friend on the end.
Hey, I wish you much luck with the movie and your career, and thanks for all of the great moments you've given us all over the past few years in football. great time.
That'd be great.
Some great time. And old great director, you're heading for New York.
I remembered Gnomon, the other thing I forgot, because the doctor said he'll come back. Get your Christmas ice creams on a Gnomon.
That's right. Good night. Thank you.